What's happening out there? This is Halftime Prep Talk. Once again, we're here in the Daily Independent Conference Room, bringing you HTPT, which is sponsored by Fannin Automotive Family. I'm here with Matthew Sparks once again. Zach Clemmy couldn't be with us today. He had some personal matters to attend to. He'll be back with us. Maybe we'll come at you from Bowling Green here in a few days, but we'll get to that in a little bit. I'm Aaron Snyder. Check out the Chick-fil-A ticker. Basketball and football information. Let's start with basketball first, Matt. The season has officially tipped off. It tipped off on Monday. I just wanted to ask you at first glance, first impressions, what's caught your eye so far?
Well, I'd say first few things. The Greenville County boys basketball team traveled down to Paintsville and beat defending 15th region champion John Central by 4.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that struck me is they scored 74 points.
Right.
They had trouble some scoring at times last year. Right off the bat in the very first game of the season, they scored 74 points. I covered Lawrence and East Carter this week too. East Carter really gave Lawrence a game, matched their pace for at least about 3 quarters before that pace kind of went out in the end. East Carter was really maybe a team that you might like to look for this season.
Wow, yeah, and East Carter's kind of one that people, including us, I mean, I'm not saying we're writing them off, but we were pretty much going to say they're going to be 3 or 4 in that district, and maybe we shouldn't say that. We need to give Coach Baker's boys a chance. Cameron Sparks, Cameron Bailey, Michael Marsh, they got a slew of guys that can contribute.
They lost 4 quality seniors from last year's team,
right.
So maybe you thought maybe they might have took a little time to get together again, but for the first game of the season, they played really well.
Yeah, and so did Ashland. They beat Lewis County. The Tomcats did earn Jeremy Howell his first career coaching win, 1-0 to start his career. Ashland looked really good. I thought, Rocky Stanley covered the game, but I thought that what impressed me was the inside play, shutting down 2 pretty good players for Lewis County, Jacob Keebler and Jeremy McCann. So you have to be impressed with Ashland's defense to limit them to 48 points because Lewis County's a pretty good team. Guard-oriented with Trenton Walker and Jake Parker, but still pretty good big guys inside that Ashland did a good job with.
Also, I've seen the Boyd County girls team in person. That full court defense is just tenacious, really struggle for an offense. And
they gave Greenup County fits.
Greenup County fits. They got a big matchup this week with Russell's girls team. Early season matchup of region contenders. So I think Boyd County might be the team for the region.
And the girls, yeah. What about you mentioned Greenup County's boys? I thought what jumped out at me there with the box score was the balance in scoring.
Yes.
The balance in scoring, because you think going into this season, Gage Hughes is a proven scorer. Yeah. Jarrell Jackson can put up some points at times. Christian Wireman can fill it up at times. But they had several guys that you might not have heard of yet that were around the 8 to 10 to 12 point range that we need to take note of.
Yes, you're right. You're correct.
So Johnson Central isn't at full strength yet with their football team. Of course, much success, including the state semifinals last week. What a win they had over Wayne County. First time in program history they're going to the state championship game. What a time to be in Johnson County right now. For Jim Matney's crew and company, they beat Wayne County 21-14, and that was in Monticello. Actually, what happened in Paintsville was Paintsville lost to Pikeville 42-23. Paintsville without Cash Daniel in that game. That was a huge factor.
Yeah, very huge factor. I think maybe it took a little bit out of that team mentally, because it was a game time decision for Cash. They didn't know exactly if he was going to go or not. He was rolled out just for the game, for the warm-ups. Derek Pugh was just outstanding, just could not be stopped. 234 yards rushing, 2 TDs. Got to put that game out of reach.
Yeah, you thought you only saw pews in churches. Well, go to the football field on Thursday night in Bowling Green, because that's who's going to kick it off. Pikeville is going to kick it off against Beechwood. Of course, you'll be seeing this on Friday. So we're going to make our prediction for that anyway, and you can just see how stupid we are here in just a little bit. Or maybe how smart we are. There is a chance for that too, isn't there?
That's a great tease.
Let's go to game. Let's go to game balls first. I'm going to go first this time, Matt. I always let you go first. I'm not going to be so polite this week. All right.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is over we're not in a kind mood anymore. I'm joking, of course. Still in the holiday spirit here. I'm in the giving spirit right now to Nathan King. Nathan King gets my game ball from Johnson Central. He kind of spearheaded that defensive effort for the Golden Eagles. They had several guys who contribute on defense, but to limit Wayne County to 14 points is an impressive feat. Nathan King had a fumble recovery as well in that game, so I'm going to go with Nathan King.
Well, Aaron, dare I do it again?
Once again.
I mean, I've given my game ball to this guy 2 weeks in a row. I think I'm going to make
a broken record.
Yeah, go for number 3, Jordan Blanton. He's carried this team on his back throughout this entire playoffs, and maybe Central might not even be at this spot if it wasn't for him. Another outstanding game against Wayne County, 3 catches, over 100 yards.
126.
126.
Yep.
I had a touchdown rushing and a touchdown reception. He's just had an astounding play. I think he's had 11 catches for 329 yards and 7 TDs in this playoff so far.
Wow.
So, I mean, I had to give it to him.
Hey, it makes sense. Yeah, I think he has to be the recipient.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, before we move on to the state finals and give our picks for all 6 games, let's talk about the basketball tab real quick. Go back to basketball. Hey, this is how we felt the past couple of weeks. We've been bouncing back and forth, so we're taking you along the ride with us. Let's dribble back and forth here. Back to basketball for a minute. We put some work into this, Matt. And,
a lot of work into this.
We take a little pride in this. This is the twin situation. It features Elliott County's Landon and Reese Griffith twins. And of course, Coach Greg Adkins and his own twins, Lake and Maddie Adkins. So it's nice to have a couple cute kids on the cover.
Yeah.
To grace the cover. That's nice to have. So that came out Monday. If you don't have a
copy, you talking about the Griffin twins or his twins?
I'm talking about the little ones here.
Oh, okay.
But if you haven't grabbed a copy yet, there's still a chance to do that. We have some here even. I mean,
you got the flip side too.
We got the flip side. We got the flip side. We made the cassette tape joke last week. We're not going to do that one again. But standing room only. That features 4 girls basketball players, very talented girls basketball players. Maggie Jacobson for Russell, Destiny Goins for Boyd, Kristen Mayo for East Carter, and Mikasa Robinson for Ashland. They're all gunning for what Ashland has had, and that's 4 straight region titles. So 64 pages right here. Flip it, girls, boys. Hopefully you already have a copy, and I'm sure you haven't been able to get through it all because there's a lot of stuff in there, but hopefully by season's end you'll get through it.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, we had a lot of great guys that made some contributions to that magazine, a lot of info, but nobody will realize how much you put into it, Aaron, here in the last week. I mean, you were never out of your office for the last 2 weeks. You don't want to really how much he worked on that, so kudos to you.
Thanks, Matt. It was truly a team effort between Matt, Zach, Rocky, and the like. Ray Schaefer, of course, Kevin Goldie taking some great photos. The list goes on. Lots of contributors for that publication. All right, back to football.
Right.
Taking you along for the ride here. Let's go in chronological order, Matt.
Okay.
Like I said, like I teased before, the Class A finals. Beechwood 13-1 versus Pikeville 12-2, and that happened on Thursday night, 8 Eastern time. Who won, Matt?
Well, I'll predict. That's how I'm really great at these things. I think the short week kind of will hurt Pikeville a little bit. Beechwood's been here before. Pikeville hasn't since 1991. I think Beechwood takes that game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I go Beechwood, maybe by a score, maybe 12 points.
Yeah, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be a close game. 2 talented teams there, 2 great rushing attacks, but that short week is gonna hurt Pikeville a little bit.
Like you said, Beechwood has experience too. That helps. Class 6A male is one of the last 2 undefeated teams left. They're 14-0. They go up against Lafayette, 12-2. Lafayette with some local flavor actually. Juan Thomas, who went to Ashland, his nephew's on that team. And Gary McPeak, former coach around this area, coached several different schools in this area. Most recently Fairview in the area. He is an assistant coach for Lafayette. That game is going to be Saturday at 6 Eastern time. Who's going to win that? Lafayette's kind of been a surprise. They beat Simon Kenton last week. I thought Simon Kenton might beat them.
Well, Lafayette's had a great season too. It'd be easy to go with them with some local ties on that team, but Mel's been steamrolling through this season. Won their state semifinal game 50-0.
Wow.
So I think you had to go with Mel.
You can't go wrong with the male Bulldogs for this game. I'm going to go with male as well. I think they're actually going to win fairly handily. Class 5A, Bowling Green, the Purples. Purple Aces, Purples, or whatever they are.
That might be the greatest nickname.
I think they're just the Purples, right? Okay. Yeah.
That might be the greatest nickname in sports in Kentucky, the Purples.
Hey, they don't intimidate you by name, but they intimidate you on the field.
The Purple People Eaters, maybe.
Exactly.
That great defense they got.
Exactly. Maybe they should extend that name to Purple People Eaters because they're 13-1 for a reason. Pulaski County is also 13-1. Pulaski County is the defending state champion of Class 5A. So Saturday at 9, Pulaski trying to go for the repeat, Matt.
I think, Pulaski went into Highlands last week and had a comeback victory. I think they carry that momentum and make it back-to-back.
I'm kind of with you on that in terms of referencing the Highlands game, but for me, I think it might have a little bit of the opposite effect. I think they're on such a high right now after beating Highlands. Not saying that Pulaski County can't be grounded and come back down to earth and win a ball game because their focus has been razor sharp the last couple years, but Bowling Green is gunning for something that they are usually in ownership of. I think they're a little ticked off that they didn't have the title last year, and I think the Purples get it done. All right, moving on to Class 2A. Let's move on to Sunday. We got 3 games. Class 2A, don't let this record fool you. Newport Central Catholic's 9-5. A challenging schedule though, and they go up against Mayfield 13-1. Mayfield has multiple Class A titles. But DeSales gave Mayfield a game last week, 24-19 as a final score.
Well, Mayfield has ruined the season for a lot of Class A teams in the playoffs. They have won a lot of Class A titles. I'm sure everybody in Class A is glad that they're in 2A now. But now everybody in 2A is now a little miserable.
Yeah.
But I think since Mayfield's just too tough. I mean, there's no really good scientific reason to my pick. Mayfield's just always a tough team. They've got a lot of tradition. They've been here on this stage before many times. I think they win.
Over the last several seasons, I thought when Mayfield won the Class A, I thought they were good enough to win Class 2A then. And they finally moved up to 2A, and I think they're still good enough to win. Newport Central Catholic, though, will give them a tough game, I think. Class 3A, Lexington Catholic, 11-3. Belfry, 13-1. That's going to be Sunday at 5 Eastern. Interesting, at halftime, Ashland's 1990 championship team is going to be recognized. I'm not sure who's going to be there. I do know that Coach Vic Marsh is going to be in attendance. So that's going to be a nice celebration there for the silver anniversary Tomcat.
Yeah, and Juan Thomas may already be in Bowling Green because
it might be. I'm not sure what the plan is there. In fact, I heard that he wouldn't be, Matt. But I do think that there will be some ties with him. Obviously, with Lafayette being there, but I don't know if he will personally be there. But there will be some people there.
Just a great backfield for that team. I mean, it was unreal. If you were able to witness that, I was a sophomore in high school.
Okay.
And it was a sight to behold.
Yeah.
Those guys.
Yeah. Chris Hutt and company. Of course, Juan Thomas. I mean, he was the lead rusher, and then Charlie Johnson too, right? I mean, those are 3 guys that really got it done.
Yes.
So Belfry's trying to three-peat. Belfry's going for the three-peat. I saw Belfry against Lawrence County. I didn't see anybody beating them then. They beat Corbin fairly handily. They didn't have the running clock last week, but they beat Corbin. And Lexington Catholic lost to Johnson Central earlier this year, so we're semi-familiar with them. That was a 42-28 game.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to make the obvious pirate joke here.
Okay.
With the Belfry Pirates. I think they're going to make Catholic walk the plank. And I think Belfry's going to take a three-peat.
Yeah. I can see Belfry throwing Lex Cath overboard this week.
See, there's another one.
Oh, was that a pirate joke too?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even mean to do that.
Oh yeah, right. Right.
All right.
Sure.
All right, then the feature game for us is Class 4A finals at South Warren versus Johnson Central. South Warren is 14-0. Johnson Central's 12-1. That's going to be Sunday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Like I mentioned before, Zach and I will be there to cover the game. Kevin Goldie as well, photography-wise. We might take a little short video clip on Sunday. Be looking for dailyindependent.com. We might have a short video clip, just kind of a halftime prep talk express version or something, leading up to the game. So, Matt, your thoughts?
Well, this is the final game of the championship weekend. I don't know if that's a drawback or not. We have to sit and wait for everybody else to play before you get to play. South Warren, tell you they're tops on defense. I mean, I think that's their fame there. 83 points all season they've given up. So I mean, it's going to be a tough test for Johnson Central, I think. Of course, they had the offensive firepower to do that. Jordan Blanton, of course, we talked about. He's had an unbelievable playoffs and a playable season. They got excellent rushers on Central. I was talking about this too the other day. The journey this team has been on this season. You know, I think journey is a little overused word in sports, but I think this might be more appropriate for this team.
Yeah.
The floods. I don't remember the floods and all the weather problems they had over the summer. Really, you know, it was devastating to this community and that team. They persevered. They 12-1, great run through the playoffs. Especially Scott went on the last play of the game. That's the reason I think the Magic will continue. I had to apologize last week. Maybe I thought it was a little bit over, but now I've learned my lesson, and I think the Magic can continue on Bowling Green. And I think they come away with a close victory and take that first state title back to Paintsville with them.
What a perfect way to end this season it would be for Johnson Central. You mentioned the floods. Connor Ratliff, one of the leading rushers for the team, actually his family lost their home in the floods back in July, and he talked to me this week. I was working on a story this week. It should be in your hands at this point, Friday's paper. Connor Ratliff's family's gone through a lot. They lived with his aunt and uncle for a couple months. They finally found an apartment and settled in Paintsville. But he said football's kind of been his outlet, his escape a little bit, and it's kept his mind off kind of the bad things that are going on. But football has kind of been that thing to kind of help keep the family together through a tough time. So it's been a tremendous run, like you said. As much as I would like to see an area team take a state title, I do think South Warren has the defense to win this game. I think it'll be a whale of a game. I think it'll be nitty gritty, and I think it'll be like 14-13. I could see Tyler Pack kicking a couple field goals, and I could see maybe South Warren holding off Johnson Central's offense there at the end. I mean, that didn't happen against Scott. Like you said, they've had some playmakers, they've had some magic, but they do have a little bit of injuries they're dealing with, just some minor injuries that could accumulate. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody's banged up this time of year, but Central has to overcome some things. I'm going to go with South Warren in the game. I think it'll be a dandy of a game once again.
Well, I think this is going to be Central's toughest test of the season. But like I said, I think what they've been through, I think that's what maybe has carried them here in the last month. The desire to end this season, end this year with a state title. I think that is going to really carry them this game.
All right. Let's move on to two for the road. Matt, I'll let you go first since your topic is basically on the state finals once again.
Well, you know, I realize that the state does not want these kids and football teams to miss a lot of school, and I think that's why they have scheduled these championship games this weekend the way they have to accommodate Western Kentucky hosting the Conference USA Championship game. But I think that, you know, it really hurts the Class A teams. Class A teams are playing on Thursday night. I think that's really a disservice to that team. When everybody else gets to play on Saturday or Sunday. Have these games on Sunday and Monday. I don't understand why we had to move this around to where we only two teams have to play during the week. You can have it on Sunday and Monday. I think a state championship game warrants maybe a day off school. I don't think that would hurt anything. I think you need to maybe make this a more even playing field.
Well, Johnson Central, as you mentioned, you know, a day off school. Johnson Central's taking off Monday anyway.
Yes.
Because they're not going to be back. I don't know if they're staying the night or not, but I know you know, some of the pet clubs and things like that are going to be coming on back. They won't be back until 4 or 5 in the morning from Bowling Green. So they won't have school Monday. So I kind of agree with you.
Well, you have to realize the normal schedule is Friday, Saturday. So teams miss Friday school anyway.
Friday school anyway.
You know, so why do you make the Class A teams play on Thursday night, a short week, maybe playing their biggest game of the season, and they get a short week, and everybody else gets the longer period of time.
And for Central, the biggest game in their program.
Yes.
And what's going to be interesting is Sunday, right down the road there in Nashville, the Titans are hosting the Jaguars. So it's kind of weird anyway that they're having having a state finals on NFL Day but especially right down the road, you're going to have a Titans game going on while the state finals going on. So Bowling Green, Nashville area is going to be a happening place. I'm going to kind of semi-stay in Bowling Green because Quentin Baker from Ashland has committed to Western Kentucky University, as he announced this week on Twitter. He decommitted from Marshall and he committed to Western Kentucky. That is his third school that he's committed to. He's also committed to Kentucky in the past and decommitted. That is not uncommon anymore. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think that for Quentin and others of his age, that they will draw probably too much criticism for this kind of thing. Will they draw some, and some will be expected? Of course. But they are kids. I do hope he sticks with this one. This is his third one, so maybe the third time's a charm for him. I was reading a story, though, before we started, from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. One of their writers wrote back in February, and he wrote about several guys who had committed and decommitted in the SEC. It's just a growing trend. You see more and more of this, flip-flops type things. And, I think with one thing is that, kids are urged so quickly to commit so early. And I think that's part of it. Stop urging these kids to commit so early. I mean, I think that they need to take the time, ample time and proper time to think this over with their family. This is a future decision, a decision that hinges their future. So.
Well, yeah, it's just the way that the recruiting process is nowadays. I mean, sometimes you get recruited when you're a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you're 14 years old, they have lists of rivals and organizations like that, rivals and other media outlets will rank these teams. Class of 2019, the ranking. So you put a lot of pressure on teenagers. This is one of their big decisions of their life, and they have a right to change their mind.
Sure.
It's going to be a little more comfortable, I think, for Quentin now that there is his teammate Drew O'Brien is going to be there too. I really want to see him in the Marshall green. That's where I went to school. I really want to.
I was going to ask you why you're not wearing your Marshall green this week.
Well, Marshall.
I know
they lost last week.
I know.
But I don't want to bring that up. But thanks a lot. But we should do whatever's best for him, and don't worry about what anybody else says. That's really my point. And hopefully they stick with this. And too bad that he's in the same conference now with Marshall, and I'll have to see him play against Marshall. But I wish him all the best.
All right, Matt. Thanks, Matt Sparks, and I'm Aaron Snyder, and we'll see you next time, which could be in a few weeks because we're going to take a little bit of time off for the holidays. Like I said, keep an eye on dailyindependent.com. You might see us from Bowling Green. Other than that, we'll see you in a few weeks.